It looks like Amazon's Lord of the Rings prequel series The Rings of Power might be getting review bombed by trolls and salty fans. The possibility that the show's being review bombed has cropped up thanks to Rotten Tomatoes. Basically, there's a massive gap between the critic reviews and audience reviews of the show. The average critic review pops The Rings of Power at a solid 84%, but for audiences it's just 36%. And over on Amazon itself, reviews for the show have actually been suspended. According to The Hollywood Reporter, a source said reviews had been suspended for 72 hours to help weed out trolls and to make sure all the comments are legit. Apparently that source then said Amazon's review pausing policy was started over the US summer for all its shows. A number of the Rotten Tomatoes reviews were critical of how diverse the show's cast and story is. This unfortunately isn't unexpected. Back when The Rings of Power's cast and trailer were released, there was racist backlash from trolls and Tolkien fans. Because of course having a story that focuses on more than just white men is the worst thing that can happen to your precious fantasy world. Rings of Wokeness, wrote on person in their 1-star Rotten Tomatoes review. I'm sure they were very proud of themselves for cooking that one up. Could have been so good without the heavy-handed today's values clumsily injected into the story and casting, said another, which is both grim and ridiculous. Quite a lot of people also commented about female elf Galadriel, one of the main characters of the show, being unlikable and irritating. The classic female characters are only valid if their likable argument rears its ugly head. Back when the trailer for The Rings of Power was released, Morfydd Clark, Galadriel's actress, criticized backlash of its diversity. Tolkien was a really complex person who wrote a really complex world, and this idea that anyone could know exactly what he would have wanted or what he would have liked is, I feel, nonsense, she told in verse. Similarly, Lenny Henry, who plays the Harfoot Zadok Burrows on the show, spoke about the backlash from fans regarding increased diversity in fantasy. They have no trouble believing in a dragon, but they do have trouble believing that a black person could be a member of the court. Or that a black person could be a hobbit or an elf, he told GQ, referencing a conversation with House of the Dragon's Steve Toussaint. As pointed out by The Hollywood Reporter though, a big chunk of reviews weren't explicitly critical of the show's diversity. A number of fans seemed mostly annoyed about how The Rings of Power interprets J.R.R. Tolkien's writing. Despite the criticism and apparent review bombing, the show so far received a bunch of praise from critics and other fans. So it'll be interesting to see how the reviews on Amazon shape up after their suspension is lifted. For the moment, I'm just excited to relive my teenage crushes on all the elves. Image, Amazon.